I'm Carolyn Schena, and I work in several different mediums as an artist: glass fusion, painting with acrylics, fine silver, and clay, such as this pendant. The first time that I can remember doing art was probably when I was about 10 years old, and I collected model horses, and I loved trying to draw them. But I never took art in high school. It wasn't until my sophomore year that I took a Drawing 101 class, and I just fell in love with it after that. I started taking more and more art classes. By the time I was in my senior year, if I didn't declare art as a major, then it was going to take me a little longer to graduate. So I did. I declared art as my major, but I never felt like an artist. And I didn't do anything with that art for several years. I worked in lots of different fields. I was a child care worker working in residential treatment. I worked in restaurants, did cooking, worked in catering. Eventually, I became an interpretive ranger working for the parks out in New Mexico, and ended up with a master's degree in environmental education from UNM. And I worked in that field for a long time. And it wasn't until I met my husband, Gary, and we moved to the Outer Banks of North Carolina and opened up Studio 12. And traditionally, when we started, we were just a paint-your-own pottery studio. And we needed lots of examples and stuff for customers to know how to use the glazes. And so I started making lots of samples and things and hanging them on the wall and putting them on the shelf. And people were interested in the pieces and they wanted to buy them. And I said, oh, wow, okay. That built my confidence up in art, and eventually after a couple of years I decided I wanted to start working on canvases again, so I started painting on canvas. And also throughout that process I was interested in glass. I started working in glass, fine silver. With the clay, I was interested in, I was doing a lot of painting on tiles. And then I was interested in doing relief work. So then I taught myself how to carve in clay and plaster and make relief work. So everything's been a real experimental process. My favorite medium to work in, I guess I would have to say painting. Shh, don't tell the glass or the fine silver or the clay. But I think for painting, I love it so much because it's such a challenge. When you see something in nature, which is my greatest inspiration, is being out in nature, you know, trying to capture that moment that you know you felt touched by is such a challenge, and I love that challenge. So painting is probably my first love. I'm Carolyn Schena, and I'm one of the many artists that you'll find at the Studio 12 Gallery, located in Avon on Hatteras Island of the Outer Banks.